This is Jarrod Horak for TheRunawayHorse.com, and I'm back with my second video this week. I'm going to take a look at the Pacific Classic in here, and then the Del Mar Handicap, the last race at Del Mar, race 10 and 11 on Saturday, September 3rd, 2022. If you're interested in my full card analysis from Del Mar, head on over to TheRunawayHorse.com. You will find those full cards on my sales page. If you're interested in bonus free selections, in the description in this video, I'll provide links to free selections that I post online, including a daily free pick on the Del Mar website, and then also at HorseRacingNation.com on my daily Best Bets blog. So check out the description in this video, click on those links if you're interested in those free selections. Let's dive into the analysis here. We're going to do the 10th race from Del Mar on Saturday, September 3rd, the Grade 1 $1 million Pacific Classic, 3-year-olds and up, 1.25 miles on the main track, scheduled post time 8:50 p.m. Eastern Time. Number 1, Extra Hope, 30-1 morning line. And he hasn't won a graded race since 2020. That was at Del Mar at 1 1/8 miles. The Grade 3 native diver. He controlled the pace and he went wire to wire. He tailed off after that. Then he finally came back to form June 11th of this year. He set the pace. He was clearly second best in an optional claiming race. And then the Cougar, the second, a Grade 3 at 1.5 miles at Del Mar last time out. He stalked wide, and he was just wide all the way around, and he finished third. So that was a solid enough effort. He still had energy at the end. He missed second by a neck. So now he should save ground from the inside post, but he's facing much better company. So he does like Del Mar, and I think it wouldn't be the craziest thing if he finished third or fourth. Number 2, Country Grammar. He's the one horse in this race that you know is going to love 1.25 miles. He last time out in the San Diego, that was 1.16 miles. That was just too short for him. He finished second. But his 1.25 mile races, the Grade 1 Gold Cup last year at Santa Anita, he stalked from second. He won that one by a head. Then he shipped overseas. He went to the Saudi Cup, a Grade 1 at 1.8 miles. Now that 1-turn 1.8 miles was probably a bit short for him. Second by a half length that day. The Dubai World Cup, Grade 1 at 1.25 miles. He won that one nicely, tracking the leaders. And I mentioned the San Diego last time out. He had post 8 in a 9-horse field. The outside lanes were best. He did run wide, but he stalked. He finished clearly second best. He had nice energy at the end. That was just a prep for this. So this 1.25 mile distance is right up his alley, and he's got that positional speed. John Velasquez got to know him last time, and he's a solid contender in here. Number 3, Royal Ship. He won the San Diego and using those good outside lanes to win that one. So that was a nice bounce back effort after in the Gold Cup he finished third, beating almost 5 lengths that day. That was a little bit of a disappointing effort as the even money favorite. He won the John Shear Mile earlier this year. He was knocking heads with Country Grammar last year in the Californian. He beat that one at 1.8 miles by a neck. And then Country Grammar turned the tables on him in the Grade 1 Gold Cup at 1.25 miles. Then the San Diego last year, Royal Ship was third, and then he was a well-beaten 7th in the Pacific Classic. So it's nice to see him bounce back last time, but I don't know that 1.25 miles is quite his best distance. Number 4, Express Train for 12-1 for John Sheriffs, 3 for 5 at Del Mar. He has won at this distance. That was the Grade 1 Big Cap earlier this year, where he won that one by a head, and it was well back to the show finisher. Then in the Grade 2 Californian on April 30th, he was the beaten favorite. Hasn't been seen since then, and he's been training up to this event. He's another one that I think he's really best between 1.16 miles, 1.8 miles. Even though he did win the Big Cap at 1.25 miles, that was his first win in 4 starts at that distance, and he's facing some very good horses, including number 5, Flightline, your 1-5 morning line favorite. Flavian Pratt is going to stay aboard in here. He's never been challenged. He won his 6th furlong debut by 13 lengths wiring the field. He tracked from second time out. Now that first start was April 2021. His second start was September 2021. He won that one by 12 lengths. Then they jumped into graded company, the Grade 1 Malibu, December 26th, 2021, opening day of that Santa Anita winter meet. He won that one by 11 lengths, just running away in the Malibu. And then the Grade 1 Met Mile, he shipped away from Southern California, a 1-turn mile there. Didn't have the best start from the inside post. Overcame it. He won that one by 6 lengths as the favorite. So he's been the heavy favorite in all his starts. He won them all easily. He does not need to lead. But the big question here is, can he get the distance? All his starts have been around 1 turn. And this race is going to be a 2-turn 1.25 mile race. He is 1 for 1 at Del Mar. That second career win was at Del Mar. And he's obviously the one to beat in here. He's got a lot of ability. He's the fastest horse on paper. If he can get the distance, he's going to win. Number 6, Stilleto Boy. He's 20-1 morning line for Juan Hernandez. Is going to ride for Ed Moger Jr. He was 3rd in the San Diego last time. The Gold Cup, the start before that, Royal Ship was 3rd. He was 4th. He did beat Express Train in the Californian, but Express Train easily handled him in the Grade 1 Big Cap. So he's 0 for 3 at this distance. He's 0 for 3 at Del Mar. He's got some speed, but he looks up against it in here. So there is no doubt about it. The Flightline is the one to beat. This isn't a great race from a betting standpoint, but it could be fun to watch if he runs away with this one, and then he could be heading to the Breeders' Cup Classic, looking at possibly the horse of the year if he was able to win this one and then the Breeders' Cup Classic. But that's getting ahead of ourselves. He's got to win this one first. He probably will. I'll make him my top choice, but as I said, he's never gotten the distance. Everybody's probably picking him on top. But if there is a horse that's going to beat him in here, I think it is going to be the 2 Country Grammar. I think he can improve second time back from the desert. But he did run 2 races over there. As I said, he ran in the Saudi Cup and the Dubai World Cup, so he needed that time off. So we'll see if he can rev up himself to top form again for trainer Bob Baffert. But he should sit a decent trip. He'll just be stalking, and if Flightline can't get the distance, maybe he gets first run and reels that one in. So there's my top 2. Flightline, and then Country Grammar is my second choice in here. And then maybe I'll make Extra Hope my third choice, just because he can save ground, and maybe he can just get a piece of this at a price. Maybe that's the trifecta, but I'm not going to get too involved from a betting standpoint here. But I will use Flightline, obviously, if I'm playing the Pick 6, Pick 5, etc. So now we will jump into the 11th race at Del Mar for this. I just did the Breeders' Cup Win and You're In for the Breeders' Cup Classic for the Pacific Classic. Now this is the Del Mar Handicap at 1 3/8. It's a Breeders' Cup Win and You're In for the Breeders' Cup Turf. This race is a Grade 2. And the purse is $300,000, 3-year-olds and up, 1 3/8 on the turf. The 11th and final race at Del Mar and Pacific Classic Day with a scheduled post of 9:20 p.m. Eastern Time. There is a 50-cent super high 5 in this race, so that might be a fun little wager to get involved in. Typically, it's always on the last race at Del Mar, but this last race is going to be a Grade 2, so it could be an interesting bet to dive in and take a little shot at. Dicey Chara, 15-1 morning line is the one. He's 2 for 4 with a second at Del Mar. Last time out in the Cougar, the second on the main track, he was 5th, beaten 10 lengths. On turf, he has 10 starts, 3 wins, 2 seconds, and a third. John Velasquez will ride, and he will try to rally from off the pace from the inside post. Number 2, Gold Phoenix, has never gone this far. Did run 1 1/4 mile in the Grade 2 Charlie Whittingham. Ended up finishing a solid 3rd there. His last 2 starts at 1 1/8 mile. There was a slow early, fast late event on June 18th. He was a close 2nd. And then his next start against Optional Claiming Company at Del Mar didn't really get any pace help, and he rallied from 9th place to finish 3rd. So now Flavian Pratt jumps aboard. Kyle Frey's been riding. Flavian Pratt gets aboard. He rode him a couple of times earlier this year. Flavian Pratt has relocated to the East Coast. He's been riding at Saratoga this summer, but he does make the trip back to the West Coast to ride on Pacific Classic Day. And Phil D'Amato is the trainer. Number 3, Phil D'Amato also trains Gregdar. He's 5-1 morning line. Umberto Rispoli, very good turf rider in Southern California, is going to be aboard this one. He's 2 for 2 at Del Mar, and one of those wins last time out over Gold Phoenix. His stablemate, when he stalked, got the jump, won by 1.5 lengths. So now getting Rispoli aboard is no big deal. That's fine because Roman Vasquez rode last time, but Rispoli, very good turf rider, and he wins races with Phil D'Amato, and this one has tactical speed in his longest and toughest test yet. Number 4, Red King, Hector Barrios is going to ride. Very good, profitable turf rider. Another Phil D'Amato trainee. A lot of experience at Del Mar. 12 starts, 2 wins, 4 seconds, and 2/3. And he likes this distance. This 8-year-old horse has run 9 times with 2 wins, 2 seconds, and 2/3 at this distance. Last time out, San Juan Capistrano, he should have won that one under Abel Cedillo. He was ending up getting in traffic there. And in that very long marathon, 14 furlongs on the turf, he was second by a head. He was best that day, hasn't run since then, pointing to this race, just based on his overall ability at this course and distance and his class. He fits with these, at least underneath. Number 5, Tango for Jack Sisterson. He's 20-1 morning line. 10 starts, 3 wins, 3 seconds, and a third. He's run once at Del Mar in the Eddie Reed. He stuck the pace and he weakened to finish 7th. That was 1.125 miles. Now he's got to run further in here. He did win at 1.25 miles under Flavian Pratt at Belmont Park on May 1st against Optional Claiming Company. Tizamagician could be the one to catch in here, switching surfaces for Richard Mandela. He's run once on turf and he did not crack the top 3. In the Cougar the second, he set the pace. He was second best. He needed that race. That was his first start. That was on July 24th. That was his first start since November of 2021. He's got plenty of class in these long distance races on the main track, and they're probably going to try with Mike Smith to get out there and try to set the pace and go wire to wire. Number 7, Order and Law. He's 30-1 morning line for Bob Hess Jr., and he claimed this one for 62.5. That was on May 6th. Last time out in the Cougar the second, he was an even 4th. Now he's back on turf. 4 for 19 with 3 seconds on the turf course. He's won on the turf course at Del Mar before, but this is a tough ask. Number 8, Tesoro. He's 20-1 morning line. And this one, last time out in the restricted Wicker Stakes, that was at Del Mar at 1 mile. He was 7th, beating a couple lengths in an 11-horse field. He's going to really have to step it up. He won an optional claiming race at Golden Gate in the spring, and he seems to be up against it. Number 9, Masterpiece. He's one that I'm not quite sure what to do with. He's your favorite at 3-1. He's 0 for 2 at this distance, but he really likes Del Mar. His 2 races at Del Mar are the races that really stand out on the page in his past performances. Last summer at Del Mar in the Grade 2 Del Mar Handicap at 1 3/8 miles. So in this race, he rallied from 10th place to finish second by a half length. Then he was 5th in the John Henry Turf, and then he was on an all-weather ground at Golden Gate in the All-American. He was 4th. Back to the Del Mar Turf Course this summer in the Grade 2 Eddie Reed. Post 10, he got a lot of pace help, 46-110, and this turf course has been favoring closers all meet long. And from the outside post, he just steamrolled the field, really. He won by more than 3 1/4 lengths. That was a nice effort. It's a question of, can he run 2 alike? Because if you look at his past performances, he never seems to put good races back to back. But based on that last race and his Del Mar form, certainly he fits with these. Masteroffoxhounds is number 10, and he's 6-1 morning line. This one, Phil D'Amato, another trainee for Phil D'Amato. Juan Hernandez, the leading rider, is going to ride back. He was 5th in the Eddie Reed. He was up on that pace, dueling. The pace was too quick. He has won at this distance before. He was in the Del Mar Handicap last year, though. He was 11th place. But this one, I wouldn't be surprised if it finished somewhere in the top 4 or the top 5 if you're playing the super high 5. Finally, number 11, Heywoods Beach. 8-1 morning line, John Sadler. He's 1 for 4. Ramon Vasquez rides this one, and he was aboard for his Cougar the second victory. I picked him on top in that race at 1.5 miles on dirt last time. Moving back to the turf course, he's a 2-time winner on turf. The distance is no problem. He's in good form now after that last win. And somewhere in the mix, I wouldn't be surprised if he mixed it up and got in there. I will try to beat Masterpiece, although I'll definitely use him in some exotics. My top contenders are more towards the inside in here. I'm going to go with number 2, Gold Phoenix as my top choice. I think he's one, I've been watching him run. He's got that even running style, and I think this 1 3/8 miles, a slower paced race, and Flavian Pratt can get him involved a little bit earlier than he got involved last time. I think he can save some ground, sit a good trip, just lurking in there, just waiting to pounce. And I think the distance, as I said, will be to his liking. He'll just gallop along, and maybe he can get the job done. So I'll pick Gold Phoenix over his stablemate number 3, Gregdar. I'll throw Red King in there as my 3rd choice. And then rounding out my top 4, we'll go towards the outside, and we'll use Heywoods Beach number 11. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment if you like this content. That will wrap up this video, and that will wrap up my videos this week. I'll be back with some more Breeders' Cup win in your ins next week. Until then, good luck at the races.